Child protection and the National Safe Schools Framework. So what is child protection? Historically, the term signified a social and political movement known as the Child Rescue Movement in the late 1800s. State intervention was supported by the social activists. In the 19th century, all state and territory governments legislated to secure the welfare of children by defining the circumstances in which children needed to be protected from neglect or abuse. So what is abuse and neglect? Abuse and neglect is typically defined as a physical or mental injury, sexual abuse, negligent treatment or maltreatment of a child. And in many cases, the child abuse occurs in families where the parents were themselves abused or where there are high levels of stress due to unemployment or poverty. But today, child protection refers to the measures taken by professionals to act directly as a barrier between children and significant harm. So let's just have a look at the laws and legislations that apply to the educational system. We have the common law, which is duty of care, legitimate expectations and procedural fairness. In here we have the Commonwealth legislation. So please note that these laws and legislations grant rights and impose duties and obligations which are not separate but all coexist. And some of these laws also apply to parents. So the Ministerial Council on Education, Employment, Training and Youth Affairs agreed to develop a national framework that would ensure all Australian schools are safe and supportive environments. The scheme was conducted of state and territory governments and non-government educational authorities. In conclusion, each jurisdiction was found to have a similar focus on their practice that asserted the rights of all students to be safe and supported. Which brings us to the National Safe Schools Framework. Their vision is that all Australian schools are safe, supportive and respectful teaching and learning communities that promote student well-being. In a safe and supportive school, the risk from all types of harm is minimised, diversity is valued and all members of the school community feel respected and included and can be confident that they'll receive the support in the face of any threats to their safety or well-being. By incorporating existing good practice, it provides a national approach to assist schools and their communities address issues of bullying, harassment, violence and child abuse and neglect. The 9 elements of the National Safe Schools Framework include leadership commitment to a safe school, a supportive and connected school culture, policies and procedures, professional learning, positive behaviour management, engagement skill development and safe school curriculum, a focus on student well-being and student ownership, early intervention and targeted support, and partnerships with families and community. These 9 elements are based on good practice, research-based literature, feedback from representatives from all educational systems, sectors and educators. The elements reflect the responsibility and requirements of collaborative effort amongst students, teachers, parents and carers, community and education systems and sectors in order to ensure a safe and supportive school environment. Here I've used the Mind Matters implementation model to show how Safe Schools Framework relates to the whole community. The key dimensions are clearly defined by colour and are curriculum, teaching and learning, school ethos and environment, and internal and external partnerships and services. The model also identifies 4 enablers for a whole school approach starting at the extending leadership and participation, increased staff understanding of mental well-being and knowledge, which we can then make links to the key initiatives and proceed with evidence-based evaluations and so on. And just for quick viewing, here I've attached the poster for the National Safe Schools Framework. It's a guide for principals. Teachers' professional standards. Teachers' professional conduct is governed by educational authority policies, which generally complements legislative and common law obligations. There is no shortage of information for teachers in regards to child safety. The Australian Institute for Teaching and School Leadership deliver Australian professional standards for teachers. Provided in these standards, you'll find create and maintain supportive and safe learning environments with focus areas in support student participation, manage classroom activities, manage challenging behaviour, maintain student safety, and use ICT safely, responsibly, and ethically. Teachers are encouraged to be both proactive in building a safe and supportive learning communities, as well as reactive in responding effectively to situations involving child maltreatment, harassment, aggression, violence, and bullying. Further to this, teachers who are well equipped with knowledge, skills, and positive attitudes can respond and assist maltreated children by enhancing their learning potential and assuring their future safety. So here's a not so fun fact. In 2008, the Department of Community Services received more than 300,000 reports about safety of children and young people. This is 4 times the number received in 2000. 1 in 6 children in New South Wales is reported to the department, and Aboriginal children are more likely to be reported than non-Aboriginal children. To protect children at risk of maltreatment, we must recognise both harm and potential and take appropriate action. So how can we identify abuse and neglect in our students? The New South Wales Government Family and Community Services provide key indicators for possible signs of neglect, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and psychological abuse in our children and young people. Some of these indications can be present in both children and their parents or caregivers. You can find this information on the website. More information is also provided in Protecting and Supporting Children and Young People Policy. It sets out the roles and responsibilities of staff in relation to child protection, including training, reporting, and support, as well as monitoring, evaluating, and reporting requirements. Further to this, Department of Education and Training provide protecting and supporting children and young people procedures. Outlined in the policy, teachers are required to undergo a child protection induction, otherwise known in New South Wales as Child Protection Awareness Training. The training is provided electronically and consists of 3 sections. That's legislation, agencies and policies, responsibilities of employees, and professional practice. Here I've included an example of the flowcharts used in the procedures, just to show how easy it is to navigate. So keeping it simple, here is what Marsh suggests as practical guidelines to assist children who are potentially at risk. Is to hold high expectations for success, assist students to establish reachable goals, link student success to their effort, focus on the student's assets such as resilience, perseverance and hope, suggest community resources for assistance with their physical needs, find respectful ways to question students about their home situations, request students to carry out jobs for you, and build a network of colleagues. As the Melbourne Declaration on Educational Goals for Young Australians highlights, schools play a vital role in promoting the intellectual, physical, social, emotional, moral, spiritual and aesthetic development and well-being of young Australians.